Hello and welcome to Gravitas Plus. I'm Palki Sharma Upadhyay. It's the 20th of March 2022. Earlier this month, we celebrated Women's Day. Everyone talked about breaking the bias. The idea was to highlight the need for gender equality, make a case for equal rights, equal respect, equal pay. You know, things that every woman wants. Instead, here's what we got on Women's Day: roses, chocolates and bath essentials, even sale on kitchen appliances. Corporates distributed cookies, cupcakes and cups and conveniently covered up critical issues. The gender pay gap, for example. The fact that even today, women are paid lesser than men. In America, for example, women are paid 80 cents for every dollar paid to men. How did we arrive at this number? Step number one, add the annual salaries of all women who work full-time through the year. Step two, find the median salary. Step three, find the median salary of men and now see the difference. In 2020, the median salary of men working full-time in the US was over $61,000. For women, it was over $50,000. Women were earning 83% of what men were being paid. And this is the US. The global picture looks worse. Women the world over are making 77 cents for every dollar earned by men. In other words, women are being paid 23% less than men. This is according to the UN Women. Gentle reminder, we are in the year 2022. What explains this pay gap? Even today, women are paid less for doing the same job as men. Even today, women are overrepresented in low-paying jobs. Even today, women are paying a penalty for pregnancy. They lose jobs or promotions because of pregnancy. Sounds awful? There's more. Studies show that for every child a woman has, she suffers a 5% wage penalty. Female managers who are pregnant are perceived to be less committed to the job, less dependable and more emotional. Even today, it is difficult for a woman to re-enter the workforce after giving birth. They're paying a motherhood penalty. Research shows that after giving birth, women are paid less than men with similar education or experience. They also earn less than women who do not have children. All of this adds to the gender pay gap. Is there a fatherhood penalty? The opposite. Men, in fact, are paid more after becoming fathers. Why? Because they're supposed to support their family. What about support for women? 66% of workplaces do not even offer any form of help for women fighting menopause symptoms. This forces them to miss work or take a career break. Again, this adds to the gender pay gap, also to the power imbalance. Why are women still scarcely represented in positions of power? Women represent only 26.1% of parliament seats in 156 countries. Only 22.6% of ministers are women. In 81 countries, there has never been a woman head of state. The World Economic Forum estimates that it will take more than 145 years to attain gender equality in politics. Were you told any of this on Women's Day? Gender pay gap translates to social injustice. And I'll tell you why. One, it sets the wrong trend. It normalizes settling for less and villainizes women who ask for their rights. A 2007 study found that male employers are less likely to hire a woman who negotiates about salary. Such women are perceived as demanding. And this creates a toxic culture. HP conducted an internal survey. It found that women employees applied for a promotion only after they met 100% of the criteria. Men, on the other hand, applied for promotion when they met just 50% of the criteria. Point number two, gender pay gap affects financial security. American bank BMO Harris conducted a study. It found that on average, men have twice as much stashed in emergency funds as women. Online tax filing firm TurboTax found over the course of their lifetimes, men save more than 3 times as much money as women do. A 2018 Federal Reserve analysis found single women have more debt, high credit card usage, and more past payment delinquencies than men. And you know what? None of this adds up, because women work more than men. This might come as a surprise to most of you, but women complete more work on average than men do. Women are also assigned 55% of all the work, and I'm not making any of this up. I'm simply referring to analysis by a workplace software company called Hive. You know, we've come a long way. There are more girls in school, more women in the workforce, but women are still fighting for social justice, because gender pay gap is nothing short of social injustice. I know many companies and countries are doing their bit. Germany, for example, it has introduced a national minimum wage. The European Union has adopted a resolution. They will draw up a gender pay gap action plan. Today, Iceland is the world's most gender-equal country, followed by Finland, Norway, New Zealand, Sweden, Namibia, Rwanda, Lithuania, Ireland and Switzerland. And even in these countries, women are not paid at par with men. It's just that the pay gap here is lesser. And that's not the goal we are chasing. Here's what's worse. The little progress that was made over the years has been reversed by the Wuhan virus pandemic. More women have had to quit their jobs than men to provide care at home. There were pay cuts across sectors and verticals. But guess what? Female CEOs took a 30% pay cut at the peak of the pandemic. What about male CEOs? They got a 2% hike. The World Economic Forum says that at this rate, it will take 135.6 years to close this gender pay gap. 135.6 years. So this is the situation you and I are dealing with. How do we fix it? Well, if you're an employee, start by speaking up for your rights. Demand what you deserve. Have you heard of the sitcom called The Big Bang Theory? The female cast was paid 1/5 of what the men earned. In 2017, the men were making $1 million per episode. The women, just $200,000. So they decided to protest. In October 2016, women in Iceland left their offices at 2:38 p.m. 14% earlier in the day than their male colleagues. Why 14%? Because they were protesting a 14% gender pay gap. In November 2016, women in France left work at 4:34 p.m. They were protesting a 15.1% gender pay gap. Employees can push for change. If you're an employer, you can make a world of difference. You can single-handedly bridge the pay gap at your workplace. Begin by making equitable salary offers to men and women. Ensure that gender bias does not affect performance reviews. Even a parent can do a lot to bridge the gender pay gap, and I'll tell you why. One of the reasons median salary for women is lesser is because women are underrepresented in high-paying jobs. Only 39.9% of financial analysts are women. Only 7.8% of aerospace engineers are women. In America, for example, orthopedic surgeon is the highest paying job. With an annual compensation of around $450,000, there are just 7% women in this profession. A chief revenue officer earns $400,000 a year. Only 19% women are in that field. You see, one of the problems is we often encourage young girls to pursue a certain kind of careers. While men take up STEM, humanities is seen as suitable for women. At costume parties, young girls are often princesses, young boys are astronauts. At birthday parties, girls are given Barbies, boys, robots and Legos. Yes, we give them choice, but we also shape their choice by these biases we unwittingly foster. These biases then shape our society. I'll give you a situation some of you may be able to relate to. Say a husband has a job offer from a different city or country. Often the wife gives up her job and relocates too. The husband's career is prioritized. Why? Because normally he's the one who's earning more. So sacrificing the wife's career and prioritizing the husband's career is considered the practical thing to do. Life decisions like these contribute to gender pay gap. In the new city, the woman is often forced to settle for part-time jobs. In Europe, for example, almost a third of women work part-time. Only 8% men work part-time. Women also spend more time in unpaid roles like caregiving. In Europe, women spend 8 hours per week in caregiving. Women are also more likely to take career breaks because of caregiving responsibilities. So here's what all of this comes down to. Even in 2022, women face discrimination. Even today, women are not equal at work. Even today, 113 countries do not have laws to ensure equal pay for equal work. 104 countries make certain jobs off limits for women. 29 countries restrict the hours women can work. 18 countries allow men to prohibit their wives from working. 17 countries limit when and how women can travel outside home. It is March 2022. Women's Day is gone. But performance reviews and appraisals are still pending. Dear employers, here's your chance at redemption. Give women their right to equality and equal pay.